Okay, so again, welcome back here. So this is lecture number 12. So are the slides are visible to you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. So this is lecture number 12 here. Okay. So in the last class, we have discussed about the AC circuits and their behavior, right? Okay. So now today's class, so we will be discussing few problems based on the AC circuits. Okay. Before going to the discussion, so what we have learned is quickly in the previous class. Okay. So main thing is, if you consider the AC circuit analysis, the input or the input or excitation, it will be in terms of AC signal. Okay. So if it is in terms of AC signal, that means how to identify or how the sources are defined. So if you see any source represented like this, so this indicates it is a AC voltage source. Okay. And sometimes they will not give polarity, they will give this arrow mark. That means this is positive and this will be negative. Or sometimes even they may give you like this also, varying plus and minus, and here the value. Okay. And similarly for the current source, so for current source they will directly mention something like this, or sometimes only the arrow mark also. And similarly for dependent sources also. Okay. So now the main thing what we have understood or discussed in the last class is, so if you are given with the signal something like v of x equal to Vm sin omega t plus phi. Okay. So this is in a time domain. So this has to be converted into frequency domain. So if you consider frequency domain, here we get two options. First one is a rectangular form. So where you will be having some real part followed by some imaginary part. And another is the polar form, where you will get the things again something like amplitude with some angle. Okay. So coming to this here, so this we usually prefer to use it in polar form. And for impedance like reactance XL or XC, or even the impedance, they can be mentioned using this convention. Okay. So no problem, you can use both anyway. Now coming to this here, what you have to do, so if this is the given equation, so this can be converted into polar form with respect to Vm at an angle theta, and preferably we use cosine signal. If sine signal is given, no problem, you can use it as it is, otherwise you can convert it into cosine signal. Okay. And coming to the impedances, so what we have to do, so usually the elements are, it will be given in ohms, so no need to change the value, so it will be in ohms only. But if you consider inductor, it may be given in like henries, so this has to be converted into J times omega L ohms. Omega can be obtained from the given equation, and L can be obtained from the given value of the L. Okay. And similarly, if you take capacitance, it may be given in farads. So what you have to do, you have to convert it into 1 by J omega C. Okay. So this value, these two values will be first available in a rectangular form, you can convert it into polar form. Okay, so this activity we have done already. Okay, one practice problem also I had given in the last lecture. Okay, so now coming to today's classes here. So first, make sure that you have the calculator with you. Okay, and once you come to this problems here, so you should be aware of few things. So that is, you should be aware of the matrix. First thing, why I am telling these things you will come to know. Then how to get the determinant of the matrix. Okay, say for example, if it is a 3 cross 3 matrix, you will be writing some elements here: x1, y1, z1, x2, y2 and z2, x3, y3 and z3, and on the other hand you will be writing the constant values k1, k2 and k3. Okay, now if I use this, what is the use of this determinant in our networks? See, we get the equations in terms of impedances, in terms of like j omega and all, wherein you cannot calculate the things directly using the calculator. Okay, so here there is a necessary to calculate the parameters by using the Cramer's rule. Okay, so if you are aware of Cramer's rule, then it is fine. Say suppose if I want to find some first parameter like either loop current or node voltage. So if there are three loop currents I1, I2 and I3. So in order to find I1, what I have to do is I need to evaluate delta 1 by delta, where delta 1 is the determinant value. Okay, then your delta value is the determinant value. Okay, whereas this determinant is replaced by, so if you are calculating I1 or V1, so here you have to put the first constant. If you are calculating I2 or V2, here you have to put the first constants. Similarly for I3 and V3. Okay, so this activity I am just telling in brief, so this can be understood with the help of problem. Okay, so we shall see that also now. So as I told, we will be covering up all these topics here: source transformation, then y to delta and delta to y, the problems based on AC circuits, mesh and super mesh, nodal and super nodal analysis. So concept will remain same, only the analysis wise it will change. Okay, so now if I take up the, according to this, I will take up first one is the problem based on source transformation. So I will be discussing around 4 problems now, and all 4 have been asked in the examination. Okay, starting from 6 marks to 10 marks. Okay, so is it visible for you everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now if you are able to read out the problem statement, see this is asked for around 10 marks. You need to find the voltage across 20 ohms. Okay, 20 ohm reactance. So that is the reactance of the capacitor using source transformation technique. Okay, so this is the given circuit here. So if you observe, what we have is, we have 2 current sources and 1 voltage source, and there are 4 passive elements. So the problem is mainly focused on what we have to find: the voltage across 20 ohm reactance, or voltage across that particular capacitor. So that means these two points what we have, we should not disturb, because we want the voltage across this point, across this capacitor. So whatever transformation techniques you are applying, so it has to be carried out with respect to these 3 elements here and these 3 elements. Okay, so by observation, what we can observe here, we observe that this current source is in parallel with this impedance, and similarly this current source is in parallel with this impedance. Okay, so what we can do is we can convert these two current sources into equivalent voltage sources. So that is shown in step number 1. Okay, so I am taking this voltage as V1 and this voltage equivalent source as V2. Okay, so how to do that? V equal to I into R. So J2 multiplied by J15. So once you do this in calculator, you will be getting the answer in rectangular form. That is something like X plus JY. So this you have to convert. See, this is optional. This you can convert it into polar form, right? So some X at an angle phi. Okay, some magnitude here. Okay, so because this will be more simple to analyze rather than this. Okay, so if you have any difficulties in doing this, you can ask me anytime. Okay, so this is the first step. After applying the first step, what we are getting is this voltage source in series with this reactance, and
So
similarly
once
this.
more, sir.
Yeah, which one?
First step again.
First step, see here. So if you remember, do you remember what we had done in source transformation for the earlier DC
Yes, sir.
sources?
Yes,
Okay. So
yes,
if you
sir.
find, okay, if you find any current source in parallel with any impedance, this can be converted into a voltage source, right?
Yes,
With
sir.
that impedance in
But
series. So I will call this impedance like Z. Okay. So how to convert this? So we have these two parameters in parallel. So we have to multiply J2 with J15 in complex mode in the calculator. Okay. So if you do that and convert it into polar form, the voltage value what you will be getting is this voltage, 30 at an angle 180 degrees volts. Okay, with J15 ohms in series. Okay, so this you have to write it here. And how should be the polarity? So we had the arrow mark like this for current source, that means plus and minus. Okay, yes, is that clear to you?
yes, sir.
Okay, so with the
Yes, sir.
similar approach on the right hand side, means at the right side on the circuit, you have to carry out the same activity. So here you observe that you will get the answer as 5, angle will be 0. So that means we write in polar form, if I write 5, that means it is same as 5 at an angle 0. Okay. So now we got this step. So next what we have to do? We should not disturb these 2 points. So we find that these two are in series and these two voltage sources are also in series. Okay. So if you add up these two, complex number 15 plus 5, that will be 20, keeping the voltage source as it is and keeping this impedance as it is. If you add up minus 20 plus 5 at an angle 0 or 5, so this is going to give you minus 15, right? So this polarity you have to use. Okay, so always you make a better one habit, like put the point like X and Y here, the points where you want, you should not disturb. Okay, so with respect to transformation, it will be easy. X is at negative polarity, so you can put X and Y here also. So you can see it is minus and this is plus. Okay, so you will be getting this now. So next what you have to do? So next step is, again we observe that this voltage source is in series with this. This is in series with this, and this voltage source is also in series with this. You can convert these into equivalent current source. Okay, so this I have done here. So once you convert them into equivalent current source with the same approach, what you will be getting is this one. So 1.5 at an angle 90 degree in parallel with J20. I have shown the steps here, and here also you will be getting this. Okay. So here you need to just consider the magnitude. No need to consider the polarity. So what I mean to say is here, don't take it as minus 15. You have to take only 15 divided by minus J5, so that you will be getting these two values, current source values. Okay. So next, okay, is that clear now till here to everyone? If you have any questions, you may ask. Okay. Okay, so I hope the things are clear. Now, the common mistake what the students will do is, now you see that what is the requirement? We require voltage across these 2 points. Okay. Now, this is a common node now. All points are X here, all these points, and all these points are Y. Okay. So now all the elements are in parallel now. Okay. So you can, if you take out that capacitor minus J20 and keep it to the other side, no issues. Okay, because all are in parallel. Okay. Now what we can do is, as we have these two in parallel, see this is inductor and capacitor. They are inductor and capacitor, but you should treat them as impedance values. So we have J20 in parallel with some impedance minus J5. Okay. So if you calculate the parallel equivalent of these two, the same approach, what you have to do is J20 multiplied by J5 divided by R1 plus R2, that is J20 of minus J5. So if you calculate this, what you will be getting is this value, minus J6 minus J6.667 ohms. Okay. So we have shifted X and Y here. So these are our values, and the two current sources what we have, is 3 at an angle 90. This direction is like this, 3 at an angle 90, and another current source which is in parallel, it is like this, 1.5 at an angle 90. So if two current sources are in parallel, we find that they have to be added, means they can be added. But what will be the resultant current direction? This will be the higher magnitude. Which current source is having the highest magnitude, that you have to consider. So the resultant direction will be like this. So while doing in the calculator, don't do like this. This is the wrong approach. I have shown it in red color. So this is how you have to carry out. Okay. Yes, getting that. So this is minus of, means this is plus of minus 1.5 only. So this is going to give you 1.5 with the direction like this. So you will get this now. So now what I have is, I have a circuit like this. I have the current direction, current source direction. It is 1.5 at an angle 90. Then I have one impedance here, and another impedance is available here where we want to calculate the voltage, and polarities are already mentioned, plus and minus, you can see here. They are mentioned everywhere. Okay. So that means the current which is flowing through this, according to the passive sign convention, the current will flow from higher potential to lower potential. Okay. But the main current, it is flowing in this direction. So it will go like this, and it will come out like this. So our interest lies here. We want to find what voltage across this. So how to find the voltage across this? So this voltage will be nothing but, if I consider this as Z, so I can find out the voltage like V of C equal to I current flowing through that Z multiplied by impedance value of that. So in order to find the current, I can use the current division rule. So what the current division rule says here, main current multiplied by opposite impedance divided by summation of the two impedance. So we are going to apply, but with the negative sign here. Why negative sign? Because of this passive sign convention. Okay. So the interest of voltage drop is from top to down, but actual main current is flowing in the opposite direction. If we take the passive sign convention of that element, so current is flowing in opposite direction. So the main current will be this one, that is minus. Then this is again, if you consider the actual voltage value, so the voltage value will be multiplied by minus J20. If you do, you will get minus 7.5 volts. Okay, so this one you have to carry out in the calculator. So is that clear to everyone why we are taking minus sign here? How to work out? You have to write it and you have to use the calculator, then only you will get it. You may do some mistakes initially, but that is fine, it will happen. So please practice these problems. Okay, so we'll go to the next problem here, a simple problem based on star to delta or delta to star. So here what is mentioned here is, so this network is given to you. This has to be converted into what now? A single delta connected network. Single delta connected network. But if you observe, this network is something like this, T and T. So these two are shorted here, A, B, and this point is C. So if you observe, this is one T network and there is another T or star network available. Okay, so it is like two Y network or T networks are connected in parallel. Okay, to solve these things. So again, so I just assume. So let us assume like Z1, Z2, and Z3 be the delta equivalent with respect to 10 ohms, J10 ohms, J10 ohms, and 5 ohms. Means this one. So J10 ohms, 5 ohms, and J10 ohms. Okay. So if you put a network over here, so you get the equivalent delta here. Okay, so here to here and here to there. So I've shown it here for understanding. Okay, so if I want Z1, Z2, and Z3, so I can use the same approach. So if I want Z1, what was the approach? So the approach was very simple. So you have to divide the opposite impedance, and in the numerator you have to multiply the other two impedance, and the same impedance should be added. So if you do this, you will get this equation. Okay, and similarly if you find Z2, you will get this equation. Here, that is second network I have considered. This is Z1 prime, this is Z2 prime, and this is Z3 prime. So with respect to 10 ohms and J5. So these things 10 ohms, 10 ohms and J5 ohms. So if you consider them separately, what we get is Z1. So Z1 prime. So this will be how much? Divide J5, and in the numerator you multiply these two and add these two. So you will get equation 4. And you find that same thing Z2 dash and Z3 dash, they are same. So you will get this equation. And if you use equation 1 to 5, so you find that you will be getting this network. Z1 in parallel with Z1 prime, Z2 in parallel with Z2 prime, Z3 in parallel with Z3 prime. So in the calculator, if you do this calculation, Z1 and Z2, they are Z1 and Z1 prime, they are in parallel. So if you carry out Z1 into Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2, so you find that this quantity tends to infinity. Okay. So this you can do it in calculator. So that means this denominator value, if you take out, this will be 0. Anything divided by 0 will be infinite. Okay. So you can just observe here what is the Z1 and what is the Z1 prime. So if you do this and calculate, so you will get that thing. Okay. So you can do this in calculator. Please verify that. And similarly, if you carry out Z2 in parallel with Z2 dash, Z3 in Z3 dash, you will get the impedance like this. And we know that infinite impedance is represented by open circuit. So hence here Z1 is not shown. Okay, because it is infinite. So here we get actually Z1 parallel with Z1 prime. Okay, but whereas here we know already these two, what we are getting is Z5 plus J5 ohms. So in the examination, please write these units, ohms and all. Okay, so I have forgotten here. Just write. Okay. So is that clear now to everyone? Okay, is that clear? Please reply back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I am discussing few sample problems here. So based on these problems, you have to solve few more problems. Okay. So the lesson plan has been attached in the Microsoft Teams. So there you have the question papers at the end. Please go through them. Okay. And in the lesson plan, it is mentioned after each module, you will be given with a small test. Okay. So be ready with that. Okay, next, coming to the one more technique, that is mesh analysis. Okay, are the values are visible here? So while taking the pic, I think it is not clear. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See here, what is being asked is you have to find the current through 4 ohm resistor. Okay. So where you find this 4 ohm resistor? In the second loop. Here we have 4 ohm resistor. Okay. So our requirement is, first you have to mark I1, I2 and I3 as the loop currents. Okay. And as usual, how we used to apply KVL, again you apply the KVL. Here we have the polarity plus and minus. This is minus and plus. So if you go on applying KVL to loop 1, so what I will get is minus 50 at an angle 0 plus 5 times I1 plus J2 times I1 minus J2 times I2. Okay. So is that clear to everyone, this equation? And you have to rearrange in terms of I1 and I2. Okay. So once you rearrange, you will get this equation, final equation for KVL for the loop 1. Okay. Yes, is that clear? Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now if you make a similar approach for loop 2. So in loop 2, what we have the things like this, right? So this we have considered as I2, and here this is loop 1. Here already I1 is coming, and here I3 is flowing like this. So what we observed in the earlier DC mesh analysis. So if you are in a particular loop, that loop current will be always positive. So if this is X, Y, Z, so then simply what I can write I2 times X plus Y plus Z. And here what I can write, until and unless the current directions are opposite, I can write minus I1 into X. Okay. So similarly here what I can write minus, what is the value? So if I take Z times I3. Suppose if you have some other current directions, suppose if the current direction is like this, I1, I2 and I3. Okay, so you find that these two currents are in the same direction. In that case, everything will be positive. Okay, this is for the red color, this is for the black color current directions. So this you can take it for reference. So always start from the simple problem. So don't go to the complex problem directly. Okay. So according to this convention now, what we have, so according to this convention, we get these equations, equation 2 and equation 3 also with respect to loop 3. Okay. But here the main interest is you should be able to write equation 1, 2 and 3. So now equation 1, 2 and 3, they cannot be solved using calculator. You cannot go to like constants, 2 unknowns and 3 unknowns as we used to do for DC source values. So here it is not possible. So what you have to do is you have to first write the matrix of that particular equations. Okay. So if you take I1, I2 and I3 as the three parameters, so you will get this matrix over here, I1, I2, I3. This is I1, I2 and I3. And here you get the matrix of the coefficients of I1, I2 and I3. Coefficient of I1 in equation 1, it is 5 plus J2. So this is 5 plus J2. Okay. And coefficient of I2 is minus J2. I3 is not there, so it is 0. And similarly, if we take for equation 2, so what we have, I1 is coefficient is minus J2, you can take that. 4 is the coefficient of I2, J2 is the coefficient of I3. So similarly, if we take third equation, I1 is not there, hence it is 0. So this is J2 coefficient of I2, and this is 2 minus J2. Okay. So with equivalent constant values what we have is 50, and in this case it is 26.25 at an angle minus 66.8. This is 26.25 at an angle minus 66.8. Okay. So this you have to write now. So next, what is the requirement here? We need to solve for current through 4 ohm resistor. So where that current flows in second loop only. So no need to find I1 and I3 here. Just you have to solve I2 with respect to Kramer's rule, right? So how to do that? So it is shown here. First you have to find delta. Delta means the determinant value of this matrix. So we'll get this value delta. Since we want I2 here, means current through 4 ohm resistor, then we need to evaluate for delta 2. If I1 is asked, you have to write for delta 1. Okay, I will tell you about that. But how to find delta 2? So you have to retain these things. Retain these things. And here in this place, you have to put what? You have to put the constant values. So constant values what we have? We have these values. 50 at an angle 0, then 0, 26.25 minus 66.8 volts. Okay. So once you put this and once you go for the determinant multiplication, so always determinants, how they are multiplied. So it is like plus minus plus minus plus minus plus minus plus. Okay. So even though if you know these things, keep these things in your mind. Okay. And we find that delta 2 it comes out to be a 0 value. Delta is this value. So delta 2. So if I want to find I2, what I have to do is delta 2 divided by delta I have to do. So 0 divided by your delta value, it turns out to be 0. Okay. So that means no current flows there. So if they put one more question, write the equivalent value of that, then zero resistance, zero current means you have to remove this 4 ohm resistor and just include all other elements. Okay. And sometimes they may ask you to find the current value of the current which makes the current through 4 ohm as 0. That means this I2 will be 0, right? So like that they will twist the question, they will ask. Okay. So other solutions or other variety of problems we will do either offline or I will just make separate videos and send you. Okay. These steps are for the reference. Okay. Now, okay. So is there any question regarding this? Yes. Are you there, everyone? Do you have any questions? Okay, so please kindly reply back. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
I
sir.
know it is a very hard time, afternoon, but be fresh. Okay. Okay. So fine. So last set of problem is based on the nodal analysis. Okay. So in nodal analysis, if you consider this problem, so again you can see it has been asked for around 8 marks. Okay. So this is the given circuit here. Okay. This is the given circuit. So wherein what is being asked, you have to find I1. You have to find the current I1 using nodal analysis. So these V1 and V2 were not given. So we have to identify the number of nodes. There are two nodes, V1 and V2, non-reference nodes and reference node, that is the ground. So these are the ground nodes. Okay. So once you do this, so you can come across the same steps what we have used. That is, you have to apply KVL to V1, KVL to V2. And what was the methodology we have found? we have followed. If this is V1, first you identify how many branches are associated with V1. So we find 3 branches are there. So until and unless any current source is mentioned, you are free to assume that all the currents as outgoing currents. So based on this, if I write the KCL equation, what I will get is V1 minus 20 divided by 10 ohms, the first equation, plus V1 minus 0, that is ground, or simply V1 divided by minus J 2.5 ohms. Second one, next V1 minus V2 divided by J 4 ohms. So this you have to write first. Then similarly, if you apply, means after that, if you rearrange the terms, you will get this equation. Then if you apply KCL at V2, so we find that again it has 3 branches associated with V2. So out of that, one current source is already given like this. So don't assume as outgoing current here for this branch. So for other branches, you can assume the currents as outgoing currents. So what I can write, V2 minus V1 divided by J4, then V2, this is ground, V2 minus 0 or V2 divided by J2 equal to 2 times I1. But 2 times I1, it is a dependent current source. So how to define I1 now? So we have to look into the I1 direction. I1 is defined here. So how to define I1? So current is flowing like this. So you have to consider ground minus V1 divided by minus J2.5 ohms. So that is shown here. Okay. So use the value of I1 from here and you can substitute that thing here. So I1 can be used here. Okay. And if you substitute and if you rearrange the terms in terms of V1 and V2, you will be getting this equation. So now we have only 2 equations, this equation and this equation. Okay. So using these 2 equations, you have to again use the same approach. Delta, what this is done for every problem. Delta you have to find, you will get delta. Next, what is the requirement? We have to find I1. We have to find I1. That I1 flows in which node? It flows in only V1 node. So just we have to find delta 1. No need to find delta 2. So if you want to find delta 1, the constant values has to be used here. And these values are retained as it is. Okay. So if you come out with this this one, you will get this result. Okay. And what is V1? V1 will be delta 1 by delta, that will be equal to 3.92. So this value you will get. And what is I1? So I1 is this equation, V1 divided by this. So if you want to find I1, you need to find V1 also. Okay. So if you put the values and calculate that, you see that you will be getting the I1 value as 1.5688 at an angle minus 168.69 amperes. Okay. So these are the steps you have to follow here. Okay. So okay. So if you have any questions to be asked, you may ask. Okay. Okay, are you all there? Who is this Abdul Khadur? Abdul, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so just raise your hands. How many are there? Okay. What about this Anup? What you are doing? Anup, are you there? Ashish, Bhushan, Deshpande, Divya Alatkatti. What about you guys? So don't be ideal. If you have any questions, please be participating actively here. Okay. All these platforms have been done for you only. Harish Patil, Harsha Patil, are you there? Raju Joshi. And who is this Ratiksha Nayak? Okay, so if you have any questions here, you may ask, please.